What is up, everybody? Hey, it's Lucky. Have you ever felt stuck, or do you feel stuck? Have you ever felt like you couldn't say the things that you wanted to say, or do the things you wanted to do, or even feel the way you wanted to feel? Does it feel like things happen for other people that just don't seem to happen for you? Well, I'm here to tell you clicked this video for a reason. If it's purely support for me, thank you so much. But if you too are searching for answers, now's the time to find them. There isn't a better time to start pursuing your wellness in areas of emotions, physically, mentally, spiritually, than now. And it starts by healing your subconscious. You are more than what you think you are. You are more than your situation. You are more than a circumstance. You are more than how people treat you. You are worthy of your peace and happiness even more than you realize. Now let's awaken to reality. Okay, here's what needs to happen. Let's have a seat in front of the mirror and interview ourselves. Now you may say, what questions do I ask? And I'll tell you, that's a great place to start. And I'll also share with you, I used to be a recruiter, so questions are sort of my thing. The first question is to ask, who am I? Now, it seems like a broad question, and you may say, what do you mean? I'm me. What are you talking about? I like ice cream and I run down the street or whatever. What do you mean, who am I? Now, let me give you an example, okay? Because just in case the question seems a bit broad or whatnot, I have a friend that a little bit ago, he asked to see old pictures of me, and I said, okay, and I showed him my baby book. And he pointed to a picture of me when I was probably about 9 or 10 or so. And he said, oh, wow, that's you. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said, that's you. And I looked, I half smiled, I kind of frowned, what? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking? That's kid me. What do you mean? What do you mean that's me? And what he was getting at is that was me before the world tarnished in a way. Now, let me get more specific, meaning that was me before judgments were built. That was me before I had certain conversations or interactions with certain people that maybe didn't leave me feeling the best or leave me with the best outcome of judgment of things, if that makes sense. It was innocent me. It was me that was living in the moment. It was me in purity of my own joy. It was me before the breakups. It was me before mishaps. It was me before, bad experiences with work or whatever the situation was. That's the real me. So your first assignment is to find a picture or think of a moment before the world tarnished your thoughts or your judgments. Try to think of a moment where you felt joy, whether it was just a peaceful moment at the park or just a moment where you had your favorite food, the best food you've ever tried, or your favorite moment, and go to that moment. And that's who you are, in your joy, in your happiness, in your innocence, in your bliss. That's who you are. Going back to that young photo of me, that's when I saw my joy. That's when I saw my curiosity. That's when I saw my security. That was the real me. Now write down, what did you love about this moment? Or these moments? What did you love to do? And how do you feel about reflecting back to these moments? Write that down. Now write down, what are your current talents? What do you do the best? What do you do well? What makes you unique? What passions you with happiness? The idea is to know your happiness is within you. You don't have to search for it. Now, I can hear some asking, what does this have to do with feeling stuck? My response is, in order to build a high-rise, you have to have a solid foundation. I don't want to sit here and try to place a Band-Aid. I want to help you remove the bullet, close the wound, and heal properly. And this definitely does not need to happen in one day. Rome was not built in a single day. It's a journey. As long as air flows through your lungs, that's opportunity. Your next task, write down what you'd like to improve on, whether that's writing or cooking or balancing on one foot, reading more, yoga poses, your business. Write it down. This is the start to identifying your goals. Once your goals are identified, stop, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, hold it for 5 seconds, and slowly exhale. And do that probably about 3 times. You, my family, have just lived in the presence. You focused on your breathing. Reality is your present moment. Then close your eyes again and pray or meditate with intention of asking for a blessing, a solution, a direction in order to fulfill your goals. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just begun our plan. You're no longer stuck, and that's a huge achievement. So many of us fail to start the process because we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed by our jobs, sometimes our children, our mates, our spouses, circumstance. We get crowded by our environments. Truth is, these are all elements that could be in our lives. However, we have to decide to put ourselves in our calendars as well. I understand it could be extremely hard to fly a plane when you have all the passengers sitting on your lap. We have to stop, pray, and meditate because sometimes we're being stopped simply because we aren't fulfilling the right goals or fulfilling the right plans. I have to say it, but sometimes we aren't allowed to move forward simply because we don't fully understand the assignment. For some, the understanding comes quicker, and for others, like myself, it comes a little bit, or I should say a lot of bit later. We have to take a second to review and cleanse our thoughts. Sometimes our minds try to protect us by creating boundaries, which in turn limits our experiences. Here's a story that my spectacular friend shared with me, and gosh, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing this, and actually I hope to get him in front of the camera to meet you all, or so you all can meet him one day, but here goes. So I'm going to paraphrase. He was on a horse ranch one day, and it was stallions, and they were all fenced in, and he asked the owner, how come those stallions don't jump that little fence and, run off and be free? And so the owner very blatantly said, they don't realize they can. They don't realize they can. Let that ring in your mind for a second. Just let it marinate for a minute. We can be so conditioned sometimes that we don't get to welcome our true identity or welcome our true destinies. Our minds sometimes tries to protect us by limiting our thoughts to times based on past experiences or things we've seen. We have to reflect back to our younger selves where we saw no boundaries, where all we saw was opportunity. We reached for whatever we wanted, even if we didn't know it could happen. We have to listen to that little voice. Believe and go. Basic math. You can't solve a math problem without knowing the formula to get to the solution. Make sense? We walk around with hopes that other people will make us happy or fulfill us or be loyal to us, yet we aren't loyal to ourselves. We don't know how to bring ourselves happiness or fulfillment. Think about the mirror exercise, what you wrote down. That's your reflection. Not the material aspects, but the internal. I mean the light that makes you you. How are you going to make that light bright, shiner? How are you going to make that light shine brighter? The integration of your inner truth, peace, and happiness will deliver you to a path outlined with light and love. Once you know who, what, and why you are, no one or situation can stand in the way of your experience. And I'll end with this. Come close to me. Repeat after me, if you will. I am lucky from now on. And you can say blessed if you choose to say blessed. I am lucky from now on. Okay? Say that in the mirror and believe it. Believe it. And if you haven't heard it today, I love you and you are amazing. Until next time.